Okay guys, it's been a little while since I did a garden tour. We put our kitty cat down and that sort of monopolized my time for a little while and my will to do things. So anyways, let's walk around because a lot has changed. It's been really warm for the past week, so I have a ton of stuff growing. Okay. Look at these freaking asparagus, you guys. How cool is that? Down at the base here is mostly spinach. There's the occasional arugula that got popped in there. We've got tatsoi. I just love how this plant grows. Like, it's a circle, it's shiny. They're really pretty plants. Super high in vitamins too, very good for you. French tarragon, which has come back. This tastes a little bit like licorice. I don't love it, to be honest, but I'm thinking I could dry it and use it in tea. More little baby tatsois, big tatsois, some arugula. The asparagus is just funky. Like, look at it. It's got this cool twist on it. Anyway, I just think they're beautiful. I've put in my peppers. If you're gonna put your peppers in, guys, make sure that the ground has warmed up and that it's gonna stay warm, because you can shock them. So I might have risked it a bit. Tuesday, I think it's gonna be 6 degrees overnight. But I think what I'll do is cover them with a blanket, and that should be good enough to protect them. Down here, it's like another Asian green, an Asian sort of cabbage. Okay, this is interesting. So, these are my Luffa Gourds, which I started inside a while ago, and I was thinking they looked pretty horrendous. Wasn't sure they were gonna make it. Don't think this one is going to make it. Let's put them back on the trellis. This guy has found the trellis, so I think it'll be fine. It'll keep growing. So that's really cool, you guys. Let me stand back and show you. So that's the bottom, and it goes all the way up to the top of the shed. So the plan is to have a wall of Luffa Gourd. That's the plan. And then beside it, again, it'll be another wall. It's a zucchini tromboncino, and I grew it last year. It did really well in my soil. Seemed to enjoy it here, so I'm gonna try growing it up the fence as well. So that's the plan. Horseradish down in the corner. Horseradish is invasive. I actually had it growing in a pot in this location last year, and it grew through the pot into the ground. So it's invasive, but I'm actually okay with that because this corner is all just horseradish, oregano. This stuff is oregano, and then chives. So I think what I'll end up doing next year is just digging it out, dividing things. So yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. I think I can keep it in check in this corner. Rain barrel, hasn't rained, so it's empty. Got some cilantro growing down here. Look at that. I love cilantro. You love it or you hate it. I happen to love it. Ooh, this is fun. Look at this. See these little guys? Those are tomato seedlings that have sprouted out of the compost. So I've got my compost bins over there, and I grab compost out of them and put it in with the soil when I'm planting. And yep, those are tomatoes. So we'll leave some of them. These are way too close together. You can't grow that many like this close. But we'll leave them and see what comes up. And sometimes things that sow themselves like this are the healthiest plants and do the best. So let's leave a couple and see what happens. Okay. Never grown these before. These are tomatillos. They are starting to bloom in there, which is kind of cool. I'm hoping that they will also grow up. I tried to get some ground cherries to grow. I started them from seed, and with everything that happened in the last month, I forgot to water, so they died. And I can't seem to find ground cherry seed anywhere, and you certainly can't find ground cherry plants around here. So I guess we'll try again next year at this point. More peppers down in front. This back here is borage, you guys. Once you have borage, it will self-seed all over your garden, because like that's borage as well, and that's borage as well. You can eat borage, you can eat the leaves, you can eat the flowers. I like to have it because it's a really great pollinator. The bees love it, and so if you're growing fruits and veggies, you need bees. Otherwise, you're going to be really busy pollinating stuff. This is milkweed coming up. Again, it's a pollinator. You do not eat milkweed. It's actually poisonous to humans. The sap can like sting and burn, but milkweed is really great for the monarch butterflies. So we're growing it. Sage plant, a rosemary that I had picked up from a nursery before we put our kitty down. And as you can see, it didn't get watered. So it's not looking like its best self, but I think it's salvageable, so we'll leave it. More cilantro, lemon thyme. I really like this lemon thyme. It's lovely. Random pepper that I just threw in places. More cilantro, spinach. Look at those guys. Isn't that pretty? It's like they're the size of my hand now. That's a celery. I bought transplants of celery. I've never grown celery before, but I'm gonna give it a try. Okay, the cage is here because I've planted spaghetti squash seeds. So hopefully they'll grow up and then across the trellis. That is the plan. We'll see what happens. Same thing over here. I'm gonna plant some sort of squash in this corner. There's another little pepper down there. These things are my solar light panels. See my white lights? They glow at night. It's kind of pretty. Mizuna. And the peas have sprouted. I'm giving them something to climb on. Lots of peas. So I learned this last year at the garden that I volunteer at. I never used to plant my peas this close together. But you can just whack them in there like as tight as possible and they will just support each other. Like their tendrils will just hang on to each other and you get lots of peas. So I'm trying it this year. It certainly worked well at the garden that I volunteer at. We have carrot down in here, but nothing has come up yet. More peas. Green onions from last year. So these guys were in the ground over the winter. Let me pull one actually. Come on. Oh, he's in there. Good. Look at that. So nice. I'll use that in a lunch. I'll make like an egg salad sandwich or something. All right. Dill, little tiny dill growing in here. This raspberry has like kind of gotten out of control. I'm in here trying to keep it just to a couple of stems so that hopefully we get fruit off of it. If you guys know much about raspberry bushes, please comment because I don't know much about it. They just used to grow wild at my cottage and we used to pick them, but I've never like, I know you have to cut them depending on what they are. You cut them in the spring, you cut them in the fall. I don't know what kind mine is. It came from the grocery store, like parking lot grocery store. Okay, in this bed here, we are growing cucumbers. So they are just starting to come up. See, there's a little one in there. Looks like there's another one coming out here. What I did was plant 3 in a section, and then whichever one is strongest, we will let survive. I got 2 more in here. So the plan is this bed will be all cucumbers. It does get some shade, as you can see, which apparently is supposed to be good for cucumbers. So it's shaded during the hottest parts of the day. Maybe that'll help. I've never had luck growing them here. It's never worked. So I'm hoping this little bed with its amended soil and its shade and all this contraption is so that I can put up some wires and netting to keep it like trellised growing up. So we'll keep you up to date on the progress of that guy. This bed here, this year is going to be potatoes. As you can see, they're popping up. I threw a few onion bulbs in there. I don't know why, I just did. but we'll pick those as like early onions. Let's zip around. This bed's gonna be all like brassicas. So I've got some cabbages, little baby cabbages planted down here. These are flat Dutch cabbage, so they should get quite large. And I've only got 3 of them in there. I've got something called an Asian cabbage down here. So it's supposed to get almost like a lettuce head on it. We've got broccoli, a few of them, the ones that the squirrels left anyways. This stuff here is garlic all along the side. More tatsoi because it's lovely and I like it. Bok choy, something's eating it. Some kind of bug, but whatever, that's fine. And yeah, this row here is also garlic. So that's the garden. What is it today? Today's May, I don't know, 14th, 15th? I think it's something like that. So thanks for watching. I'll keep you posted. I missed a whole section of the garden. This whole like corner over here, you guys. Transplanted Swiss chard. It's got the little yellow stems. My note says this is bok choy, but it does not look like bok choy to me. So we will see what comes up. This is my hibiscus roselle. That is not looking good. It's a transplant. So hopefully it survives. But I did grow one here last year and it did really well. Down the side here, I've got broad beans. Every year I say, I'm not gonna grow broad beans. It's not worth it. And then every year I find a spot to throw a few of them in. So I don't have high hopes for these, but they're here. Some onions I'm trying to get established. These are like walking onions, like a green onion, and they should come back year over year. So once I get these little hairs established, this whole section down here should be like a green onion bed year over year that I won't have to keep planting. Got some lettuce in here, little merlots, actually I think this is called Little Gem. And these were transplants that I bought because sometimes you can't not buy plants. It's just not possible. This corner I'm hoping to get a little bit of like a tea bed going. So I've got my chamomile, I've got some calendula. Right now there's radish and peas because it was one of the earliest beds I sowed. But yeah, the thought process is I'll be getting over the years the chamomiles coming up here and we'll make tea with it. In this bed I whacked in a pepper because why not? These are turnips. These are turnips. This here was to keep our friend the squirrel from digging. So is the snake. These are beets, just starting to pop up. So, yeah. All right. That is actually it for the garden tour. Oh, maybe not. Pepper shelf. That's new this year. My husband built a shelf for the peppers, so they're gonna hang out in pots up here. In previous years, I've planted them in the garden and they haven't done well for me. So we have a pepper shelf.